It will come up eventually, and we just need to.
We've already celebrated.
It's
Well, I know, but I know it's a rate, but does that rate include the city recreation department, so to speak? When she uses it for, Santa Claus.
because it's not specifically rec, it's how we schedule the facility. That we've got a big scheduling opportunity with the turf. And so I want to maybe we brainstorm about potential new users, and I want to see that filled.
Yeah,
Throughout
I agree
the
100%
summer
with
season.
what you're
So I
saying.
may not be as, because it's not specifically rec, it's who is responsible for actually scheduling
And marketing it.
and marketing.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a concern of the BYSA folks when it was changing. That was a big concern of theirs.
They wanted to get on the board of the rec department.
I saw
I think, Nicholas wrote back to them and said that there's no open spots on the board, but the meetings are
Oh.
open, so you can always attend. If we have the Barre City Rec Department, would we want to have the Barre Rec Department here as well?
Yeah. I would take personally.
Is there any conflict between the two?
It seems like if there isn't, the Times Argus will figure out a way to make one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do we want to respond to that?
let's talk about that during the number 3.
Yeah, that was very disappointing. I think we're almost on 3. So for the visitors communication, Tracy is a priority as well as the 2 rec departments.
You want to do them the same meeting?
No, I think
No, I think
think
we
rec should
separate
be first, though.
Maybe we should get that scheduled.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, Tracy's show is out for another year.
Yeah,
So. Okay, I can reach out to them. I don't know who the Barre Town Rec Department is, but I'm sure I can
I
figure
do,
that one
I
out.
can get to you.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay, next one, BO turf review. So it was excellent. The city council was, very supportive of it. I think it was unanimous. I was actually a little surprised how enthusiastic they were about it. I think it was great. They're writing POs and checks and getting all that stuff done now. Nicholas has a clear understanding that has to get done in December.
Yes.
So I think it was great. It's gonna get ordered. It will, I think they store it until we're ready to put it up the first time.
Yeah.
So we have time to get the next set of things, which would be the storage container and all that going.
who will be responsible for managing that activity, getting the storage?
I'll talk to Bell Vance
Okay,
and see what they can do for us.
Chipping down, I'm sure they got.
Thank you, Chris.
and what about the curtain also? We
I
need
guess I
to
can talk
order
to
that.
Ben about the card and see if he's got an idea about one.
Yeah, so,
They must have come across it when they researched it.
yeah, because they haven't heard anything to me as far as,
Okay, so Charlie, you'll talk to Ben?
I'll talk to Ben.
Okay,
It's a curtain to go across, to divide it.
yeah. So that 2 different small groups can be using it at the same
So to put a
time.
curtain up, they gotta put a cable or something across.
Yes,
and it's gonna have to be up high enough. See, right now we leave the cables up for the batting cage nets. They're up high enough, they don't affect anything during a hockey game. So I think if we run at about the same height, we should be okay,
Well, that's why I was asking. I mean,
but this is gonna be more, see, the batting cage nets are at the far end of the rink.
right, yeah,
So they don't interfere with anything in the score booth, center ice is still wide open.
right, yeah.
This is gonna go right through the center. So it's probably gonna be something that when we get into ice season, the net's gonna have to come down.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you pull it to one side or the other, it's gonna interfere with
The,
visibility.
the net can come down and the
Right.
cable can come
Cause we
down.
take the
Well-
batting cage nets down when we start making ice.
Yep.
And we just leave them up, we put them up in the spring and leave them up all summer.
I was more concerned about itself because we're talking about new activities in here. And I don't know if it's a soccer ball that goes up in the air and I don't know how high or whatever's gonna be going on.
Yeah.
In there to have this cable across. I mean, the idea of dividing in half is, you know, I think is a good idea,
Mhm.
but is it gonna interfere with some of the activities that are there? Just something to consider, I think.
I don't see it being too major. I mean, a ball might hit it or something like that, you know, if they have it out and that's what it's for, but if they pull it back, you'll have one cable 20 feet up in the air.
You gotta go to the
Kids will
ball game.
shoot
You gotta go to
for
a
it.
ball game in Florida.
Right. Kids will try to hit it, I'm sure.
Spalding has one in their gym.
Yeah.
But, and I think that's electric, that's automatic, you just
Yes, it
push a
is.
button in it.
Yeah, we probably won't have that.
No.
I mean, as far as dividing it up, I mean, my experience is a long time ago with ice, they put a couple of cones or whatever across.
Yeah.
You know, wasn't a big
Right.
deal.
Right. This will be a little different for, I know for, let's say lacrosse, when I had kids over there, you know, you want to separate the big from the little one. Well, now you're talking a ball that bounces.
Yeah,
You know, the pucks for hockey, we'd always put those little cushions or whatever across.
yeah.
And the pucks would stay and hit them and it's down their side. With the
Yeah.
lacrosse ball, it's gone. So different, a little different, but
Yeah.
so the net, I think we allocated, I can't remember what it was for, $6,000 or something like that. So I'll talk to Ben and see if they got that. As far as the details for it, Jeff, is there anything that the city has to do, or, I mean, they got the checks, I think.
I think the checks came in, they were gonna be in by the end of this week.
Yeah.
So just a matter of, we deposit those checks and then that. And I'm guessing we're setting up a special account. I gotta talk to Dawn about that.
Okay, so who's the point person to make sure that all of this actually happens in a timely way?
Now, Nicholas wanted to be, but
Okay,
I'll be working with him and Dawn.
okay, great.
Yeah.
I wanna make sure it's a
The
separate
holiday
account.
season gets very fuzzy with all that eggnog. I just want to make sure that,
Right.
yes,
I know USA is talked to Nicholas a couple times. They had, they're supposed to have a meeting Friday that didn't happen.
okay.
I think they were talking yesterday, I can't remember. The only concern I have is that, UISA was stuck up on having the continuous rate, you know, continuous increase. So I don't know what happened with Nicholas and UISA on that, but I'm assuming everything's moving forward. That might come up again.
So continuous meaning beyond 2 years.
UISA wants to have that rate, a reduced rate indefinitely.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, they know what was approved by city council.
They know it's approved because they brought it up after the council meeting,
Uh-huh.
so.
Was that what we approved? 2 years?
We approved like a 2-year, so the rates are out there and they're set for like 2 years.
Yeah.
After that point, we're gonna evaluate. We did ask in our meeting, BYSA, it's like after that, you know, you'll basically have your 75 grand off in your discount.
Yeah.
So, you know, you'll be paid back. And they basically said that they weren't sure if they'd be able to use it at the full rate. So it was kind of left.
4 years, yeah.
Yeah, it was left unsettled,
Yeah.
or whatever. And I think they wanna, the iron is hot, I think they wanna try to settle it. So I don't think Nicholas, was up for that, and there's, you know, we just gotta basically see the use. And
Yeah, this
see
is
how
a
much
study
they pay.
period.
Yeah, for 2 years, yeah.
And it's a study period for everyone involved.
Right,
So I can't
And
imagine.
we want them to be able to use it going forward, just like everybody else, but we also have to pay the bills.
Yes,
right,
So, I mean,
right.
let's see what
And
happens.
hopefully it pays the bills, even
Yeah.
at a reduced rate.
Yeah.
If we can tie it back to the rec department, if it can stay busy and get used all the time.
Right.
Then it's money maker.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't get used much, then it has to be reevaluated in 2
Yeah.
years, so.
Okay.
I think we'll shelve that one.
You know, what's funny is yesterday I got an email. I buy a lot of stuff from Beckler Arena products. They're the ones that I bought the Fords from and the glass. And so I ordered a new piece of glass. I guess while I was out on vacation, the glass got broke and no one told me until I got back. So I had to order a new glass. Anyway, I got a email notice from them yesterday that said, we are now the US vendor for the exact same turf we bought.
Right,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
boy.
50% discount.
You know, you only about a month late.
Yes, yes,
Oh, boy.
yes. That's fine. Okay, so as far as the VOR turf, is there anything else that?
Paula brought up the point.
Do we wanna respond to
Oh,
some of that negativeness that came from the crowd?
I don't know, that was a very interesting article.
I-
Surprised at that.
That, my first reaction was, sons of bitches, and I want to, but then. Thought about it, so you know what? No.
It's not worth.
Let's take the higher road. And,
Yeah.
we all think it's a good thing. City does, BYSA does.
The,
Malone, I expect nothing less from Malone, speak like that, but.
the thing that bothers me, and it's not very town, the fact that we can't seem to provide them with cost expectations of what it costs for a person to be there, whatever it is, X number of hours, or however it's gonna work out. I mean, to this day, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know what it costs to have an employee over at the BOR for an hour or whatever. If I was on the Berrytown board, I'd like to know. I mean, to me, it's like a business decision. I'd like to know what the hell it's costing me before I order something or do something. And I don't know. I mean, we have gotten reports in past years of what the income and expenses were for the BOR and for the auditorium and so on and so forth, but we don't have much detailed information of when we make a decision to do something. And this is this is one, we're expecting to get X number of dollars of income. I don't know what the expenses are gonna be or what the potential expenses are gonna be. How do we find out, Jeff, what it costs to have an employee?
I can run like a month's worth of, I'll run one for ice time right now and see what it is. I'll get I don't have all the benefits information. I can get their hourly rate.
Yeah, well,
That's at I can get that, but I can't get.
You gotta have a cost of benefits, at least a
Right.
reasonable estimate.
I think the BYSA people kind of spoke up about that at the meeting, that,
Yeah.
they are absorbing all the labor costs, all the utility costs, so. Does the town wanna start pay us some of the money for their kids to have the lights on, the heat on, the staff to be there? I mean,
I just
we
think
could,
you
we
would.
could go back to here's what a city resident pays to use the BOR, here's what a town resident pays.
I'm not even close to advocating that. I'm just saying actually I'm a taxpayer in town, I guess now, or whatever. And I've also been in business for a long time, just sort of in it now, but I don't do anything, or my son doesn't do anything, that's the cost. I mean, he wants a ROI on everything we talk about, as a town resident, it shouldn't be a problem, and it hasn't only been with this complex or whatever. Every time the city and town want to do something together, it comes up, the city can't seem to be able to provide reasonable cost expectations. I mean, they don't have to be to the penny. You can't find out what it costs for benefits to operate this facility, then to me, there's something wrong with the whole.
Seems like every couple of years, we kind of touch on the finances of the whole facility.
Yeah,
And I think we'll probably do for another one of those.
yeah.
So maybe we get whatever.
Let's do
information
that in
we-
the early winter if we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, when you can get kind of the information of, revenues, expenses and stuff like that, we'll dedicate a good portion of one of these meetings to that, just
Yeah,
to kind of review it.
expenses, I mean, what the electric bill
Yeah.
is.
I think that would be a really good exercise, but there's another aspect to what Paula raised, and that's the issue that. The Times Argus is trying to sell newspapers. It likes having an ongoing feud
Sure.
between Berry City and Berrytown.
Mhm.
So, the opening sentence was classically, they wanted to get people knuckled down, ready for a brawl. And that's one of my objections, but it doesn't, because I wanted to write something immediately, and then I thought, and why draw attention to this ridiculous?
Yeah.
It's like a circus. But I do think that the TA could be considerably more professional, and if there's an opportunity to celebrate collaboration between Berrytown and Berry City, why not celebrate it?
Mhm, yeah.
This is actually a really good example of working together.
Right.
But they had to actually set it up
Right.
as people were getting in their corners and getting ready to deck each other again. Really bad.
They took their kind of gratuitous shot at the city and the whole thing.
Yeah, it was just-
unfortunate. It was
It was
just
bad.
The way we was written, it was very nice of them to donate, 15 grand to the project. But that's, let's look at the size of the expenditures and all that, it's not a money maker for the city necessarily as they portrayed it in that either. It's not like we're gonna be rolling in the money. It will generate some income, but the expenses are more than the income, so it's still.
City's contributing $35,000 more than the town is, so.
Again, it's not tax money and you're getting into the
Yes,
weeds.
that was never mentioned anyway.
I know, it was never mentioned, I agree.
It was a frustrating article.
It was very, all levels, I know. The thing that gets tricky, Paula, is that in raising all of these details, and a correction, I wish a correction would make a difference. I just feel like the newspaper was irresponsible and will continue to be so, and that the readers have already kind of made their decision about where they're sitting. So it's kind of hard to think about spending time raising this for the public to consume again, when it may not do any good. It may just draw attention unnecessarily to, maybe we wait until the turf is in place, it's paid for, and then we come out with maybe a commentary or a feature story about how great the turf is performing up here. It's a celebration. And then we also talk about how great it is to collaborate with Berrytown.
Well, as an add-on to that, just for a marketing event. What if you were to open up and invite everybody from the BO, whatever the hell they are, BYSA and
Yep.
all the town office, everybody.
In the city.
Put an invitation in the Times Argus,
Yep.
open house, come
Yep.
see the turf,
Come to the
build
turf.
it up big,
Yes.
Great idea.
celebrate.
That's a great idea.
I think so,
Opening,
too.
it gets installed
Yep.
and everyone's welcome.
It's a
to come.
party,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's a really good example of working together.
It's kind of,
I just feel, as someone who's lived in the town 70 years now, that the comments were uncalled for, and it disrespects everything that was done.
All the volunteer hours that went into researching, doing, I know, it's really, it's sad for the YSA guys up there.
Right.
I
it
agree.
was kind of
I
a
mean,
2 step forward, 1 step back. That
People
was
who represent
so
the town
frustrating.
ought to be doing better.
Yeah.
Well, what might work really well is a face-to-face thing where you go to the Berrytown Council meeting at Visitors and Communications and step up to the mic and say, I've come to thank all of the hardworking volunteers associated with BYSA for being the leaders that they were in helping us, create this turf opportunity through all of our community members. I mean, going face to face sometimes is a lot better than, writing some sort of terse little letter to the editor.
There's no sense in any negativity. It's a
No,
waste of
I-
time.
it's like-
It causes more problems.
Just say,
The problem with that stuff is though, it's all how you write it, I think Bob was trying to settle that down from the article is what I got. And, there might have been a couple comments negative, there might have been a bunch of comments positive, but they focused on the
Negative,
article
yeah.
focused on the
it
negative.
was
one
negative, it opened
and
negative.
Built
and-
that up, that was
yeah.
the story he wanted to tell,
and-
and, he told it, and it was not flattering, not a good look by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think their whole board thinks that. So I kind of agree with, do we put up the mitts and then start duking this one out? I think that would be the wrong move. Certainly talking to the people, if you have a chance and face to face, I think is a good one just to square it away, but it was a good collaboration. It was a good thing for the town and the city. So it was a little frustrating to see, but I think the best thing to do is just kind of take the high road and move past it a little bit versus, I was expecting the letter from the Times Argus from one of our members.
Oh, I mean, I was actually very upset that it opened that way and it just didn't get any better. But it's not worth it.
I don't know if the select board even knows that about half the members of this committee are town residents.
Yeah,
Probably not. They don't know who we are.
Probably don't want to advertise that either.
So I think the turf is a great thing.
Oh, yeah.
So,
We need to make it a great thing
we
too.
need to make it a great thing. I agree with having the rec departments come in.
Yeah.
I think having an
think
open
that
house, that's a good
the
thing.
open house is a great idea. A great idea.
What? Yeah, I agree. we've got this basketball gig coming up on the 23rd of December.
Yep.
I sent an email out to all the advertisers in the auditorium. So, you know, telling them yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
I'll do the same thing here in another month or so.
Yep.
When the turf is down, and also tell them about this motorsports event that's coming in April.
Yeah.
To all of the
It's actually been
advertisers.
moved now. It's gonna be the last weekend in March.
Okay, great, well, good, but, you know. Keep selling everything.
Yes. When is the turf gonna get installed?
So I talked briefly with Robbie yesterday. Ice will be out mid-March. Well, we start taking it out mid-March. I'm debating, so this motorsports show that's coming. Justin St. Louis, he used to write for the Times Argus. He's a big racing guy. So this is gonna be a Friday, it was gonna be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the first weekend in April. He called me yesterday and needs to change it to March because apparently April, that first Saturday in April is this total eclipse that only happens
Yeah,
every
it is.
100 years.
It is
And the best place to see it
here,
is,
right here.
actually, the center point is Burlington.
Yeah.
Burlington, Vermont is the best place to see it. Hotel rooms right now,
How about-
if you try to book the Comfort Inn that weekend,
Yeah, I'll go on.
minimum $400 a night.
Wow,
Burlington, $800 a
Yeah.
night.
wow.
So these people are calling, so we're trying to book rooms, we can't afford it, so we can't come.
I got a spare.
So we're
room.
moving it up to March, and
$400
it's gonna,
a night, I
it's
got a
gonna
spare
encompass the whole. Basically the whole region of racing, you know. What is Bear Ridge, Thunder Road,
Yeah.
White Mountain Speedway, so it's a big event,
But
We've never
vehicles
had
are going in there?
Yeah.
And it's okay, like transmission fluids and whatnot.
these, yeah, I don't think you'll have to worry about it with
Okay.
these are gonna be brand new, haven't even been on the
Okay.
track yet.
Oh,
So anyway, that's gonna be in March, so. I want the turf down for that, cause I wanted it down for the first weekend of April anyway, so. I'll see where we are as far as getting the ice out, and getting it cleaned for that event. So if it's not that last weekend in March, it will be in the first weekend of April.
so would it be wrong to lease up space at the auditorium for tourists who want to come up and get a cot? And I'm not joking. I like making money.
Really?
So would it be wrong? We've got cots. We've got space.
I don't know. I think that's a little out there.
Yeah, I don't know if the state would like that.
Yes, emergency shelter maybe.
It's an emergency shelter, so we're afraid people will be afraid of being in the dark during the event.
Well, that's where that not timeshare, but
So yeah, we're looking at, no later than first weekend of April, that turf being in.
okay.
But, hasn't in past years, you kept the ice in later because one of the local teams was. in
So the way
tournament. I don't know when
high
the
school,
tournament is
the
anymore.
way the high school tournaments are now,
Yeah.
the finals are the first week in March.
Okay,
Semifinals are the first weekend, so either the last weekend of February, first weekend of March. So by Tuesday or Wednesday, that first week of March is when the finals are. So there's no need for practices after that.
Yeah.
So we just automatically shut them off and let it start melting, and in 2 weeks, we got it cleaned up and ready to go.
it'll fit.
And we have to coordinate with the turf vendor.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
That date. Okay, good. Anything else on the DOR turf? No? Okay, excellent. So we'll move on to continuing facility improvements. I did send out the list that we did a long time ago. You've done some of the issues on that one. We have the painted walls, we painted some of the.
Yeah,
top of the
soundboard
stairs.
is all upstairs.
Soundboard was up. I'd like to just review this, add anything that people think that we need to work on. I think there's a couple that are pretty big. I did take a couple off here because they were too big. This is.
And I can tell you, replace carpet and elevators been done, and
Nice,
floor mats in all 3 buildings. They have new floor mats in.
all 3 buildings, great, awesome. So, I don't know. The biggest one on my list would be, and I don't know if we can do it now because of the winter, is when you come in and the ceiling right underneath the steps.
That's gonna be the first thing in the spring.
There was some talk about that potentially being copper.
Actually, I wanted to, before any painting gets done, could we just examine it carefully and make
Yes.
sure we know what we're painting? Because it is an old beauty and we need to, if it's something of value like brass or copper,
Right.
we should remove it and do something.
And before you can do that, I'm gonna strip the roofing
Yeah,
and put new roofing on it,
okay.
because that's what's happening. It's the old
Yes.
roofing is pulling away from the facade, so the water's getting down there and running down the side.
Why would you replace the copper?
It's painted now
Yeah, I know.
and the paint's all shipping, so I don't think you'd replace it, but the question would be is could you blast the paint off and get
Yeah,
down to
right,
some
right.
piece of metal?
Yeah, keep the copper.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, okay, I thought she said replace the
No,
copper.
no, get rid of the paint.
Oh.
Keep the copper or brass. It's probably brass.
Probably brass.
When was the last time that was painted?
It hasn't since I've been here, no, I'm
So-
coming up on 16, 17 years.
So it's lead paint is probably.
I would say,
I think so.
Oh, boy.
Mhm.
So it's just a nightmare.
yeah,
So,
Can I suggest, I mean, have you guys been upstairs yet to see what's been done up in the conference room? It's completely painted.
yeah.
I don't know who is responsible for putting up the arch, but that's a showpiece up there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Sue put up the art, the pictures, and then my guys put up the
Nice job.
sound, we put up the soundboards.
I would just suggest that when you come in the door, we ought to be able to afford 4 or 5 pieces of tile and fit, I mean, that's been like that since they put the new heating system in.
Yeah.
And then the whole building would show off and bring more money, bring more business here.
Okay, so that replaced broken tiles as you enter the odd alumni from odd.
That would be, I think, a great improvement.
Okay, going through the rest of them, the bathrooms, I think they take some more work. Bathrooms are potentially, which we'll talk about soon, if we get the money to renovate. A lot of work, I think, on the bathrooms. Paint all stairways and auditorium prior to locker room stairs. I don't think we've done any of that
No.
painting. Who was the gentleman that you had paint? Remember him?
When we did this,
The room upstairs and,
that was a Lindoni. Probably won't use him again.
oh, really?
There's a guy I had, so he did the room up above.
Yeah.
And I had him come back twice.
Yeah.
Cause I found spots, and
Oh.
then I continued to find spots, so I didn't hire him to do the hallways out there,
Okay,
which came out a lot better.
Okay.
Tom Baldwin was his name.
okay,
I'm gonna reach out to him if we're gonna do more painting in here or
Yeah.
next door. Brent, I could get Brent, I
Yeah.
think, but these guys are a little cheaper than Brent, and
Yeah.
like I said, one was quite a bit better than the other.
Right. Good. Okay, you got to pay for it with Lynn then. Okay, replace broken tiles, Jim just mentioned, exterior paint, alumni. That would be the,
Yeah, that will end up being, contracted out.
yeah,
You're talking about,
that'd
the
be
roof
like the
line?
windows.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the Fascia up top, that's all peeling. It's funny, it's just the visual of it, it's like, it's a paint of coat, but it's such a striking difference. When
I
you see
agree.
kind of chipped out paint, it just looks run down.
Yeah.
So the exterior paint on alumni will have to wait till the spring/summer, repair paint auditorium front ceiling, that would be spring, summer. South side railing, what was that, Jeff?
Oh, is that the side doors, the Seminary Street side, they're
Oh,
rotted.
yes, they
Coming
are.
out,
And that would be part of the granite if we do the granite,
yeah, cause we gotta do those steps too, even
Yeah.
the side steps have moved.
right?
The ones on the front side,
Right.
so more so than the ones on the rear side, but they have to be done. The back entrance stairs, those 2 back
Yeah.
doors, I gotta re-concrete those.
I would look at this list as kind of stuff that I know we started using our civic center fund for some of this.
Yeah.
And the steps, that's 6
That's,
years. That would hopefully be.
Last time I got a estimate on that was like 80 grand.
Yeah.
reset all of the stairs.
Yeah,
So in the meantime, we had the little green machine up here that they use to plow the sidewalks and stuff. We were moving some stuff around with forklift. So we put the forks on it, put a 4x4 block in front of the stairs, and
yes. Pushed.
so the gaps are gone.
Really?
One of them, they pushed a little bit.
Good idea.
Oh,
Yeah, we
good.
closed them up, so there's not nearly as much water going in the stairs down below, so,
Temporary fix.
yeah.
Yeah, good.
Better. Okay, good. So, as far as this list, if anyone has anything, I think we'll keep this kind of as a running thing and take a look at it. Most meetings. If anyone's got anything when they're walking around that they see, let me know and we'll keep adding it to this and then hopefully we can add and then cross off a few things as fast as we can as well.
One thing, that has always bothered me is that I realized that the parking lot was separated with a granite curb with height. So that, and then there's one area where you're supposed to cross over to the elevator zone. But in fact, whether it's when people vote or when people come to an event, no matter what age the visitor, they take the shortest route from the parking lot and then they trip on the curb and then they get up to the stairs and then they have an opportunity to slip into the cracks. It's got all of you wouldn't believe how many near accidents I've seen over the years because of the curb that comes up about 8 inches. There should be a cut through. It's a very simple fix, just basically a passage so that people can opt to just walk straight if they want to. And I realize you painted a crosswalk for people who need the elevator. Lots of people are just gonna go straight.
Yeah.
If you could fix that, that would be like
Now,
night
so
and
I'll
day.
ask DPW, because that's concrete cutting, taking out a slab of the sidewalk, making it a slope.
It
so-
would just be amazing.
You're talking on this side of the road or?
Directly across, on the other side,
Right, that
you'll-
whole
you'll-
strip.
yeah.
You've got a sidewalk that comes up, so you got curb in there.
It's, human beings are gonna take the shortest route,
Yes.
and so we're just asking for a trip and fall.
The sidewalk coming up the hill isn't in great shape
No.
either. The city, they have a sidewalk budget or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
They have miles of sidewalk.
oh, I know it.
And, each summer they get just a small piece of it done. That's,
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%, but that sidewalk, I don't know, I'm thinking it might be used more than a lot of other sidewalks in town. For events and whatever, for people coming up here, so. It's a reflection on the building, on the city, et cetera, so.
Yeah.
Asking to be on the list to, fix it up, I don't know if it's got snow on it now, so you can't tell, but. I know there's a couple sections that could be repaired. I'm not sure it needs to be the whole hill, but.
I'm concerned about the city's budget over the next several
yeah, I can
years.
tell you, it's not good, and it's not gonna get better soon. Like right now, I pulled my 2 guys off work here to help the contractor who hasn't done basically shit on flood repair.
Yeah.
City Hall hasn't been touched.
Yeah.
He's 2 months behind on public safety building. So
Who's the contractor?
Brandon Vest.
Okay, just a reminder, we're on camera.
Mhm.
Okay.
But, so right now, my guys, we've got everything set up for this week's events.
Yeah.
So I gotta send them down to help hang sheetrock.
Yeah.
So some of these other things, flood damage is still at the top of the list.
Right, that's where I think we can do it, we have our civic center fund, which we can tackle some of the smaller issues with and get people to do those. The bigger ones, we need to wait for bigger financing, or help from the city, which isn't gonna be coming.
Like sidewalks is, that's a DPW thing, it's built in as a special fund that
Yeah.
voters approve every year.
Hmm.
They set their priority for sidewalks, and I can tell you that the only sidewalks they've done the last few years is when they've gone in and redone a street for water and sewer lines. And they tear it all up, so then they do the sidewalks.
I'm just saying, if you ask them to put it on a list, because there is a fund for it, maybe we can get something done, maybe we can't, I understand it, there's no extra money, but the money that's there, maybe some of it could be spent here.
Or at least patches. If there are gigantic gaps, maybe little patches.
Yeah, and make it so that it's walkable for
Yeah,
a normal person, I think, you know,
Yeah.
there's pieces that are up, that are down, or missing.
Yeah.
Um,
maybe not an entirely new, kind of sidewalk, but just little touch up.
Okay, so as far as this list, as I said, anyone got anything to add to it, just email me and we'll put it on here and we'll keep reviewing that. Anything else for facility improvements? Let's move to the earmark fund planning. I don't have anything to talk on it. I just don't want that to get out of our sight.
Right, so we gotta keep this on here
Yes,
continually.
I mean, I thought the dates for one of the paperwork were already passed.
some of it, they were due, but then they got pushed out because of all the flooding. So we got kind of a continuance. I think it was open-ended. Is that true, or is there a hard date?
They never gave us a date when they said, they pushed it out from September.
Okay, so one of our
The
projects,
federals, the feds.
one of our projects is to obtain the new date.
Yeah,
So who in the city is in charge of keeping track of all that?
Nicholas,
it was. And his crew. So they haven't, we have to get a new date. To determine when we have to respond to it. I think that they need from the city a good plan of where we're gonna get them. Funds and how much funds we're gonna be able to get to them. Is that still on the?
Well, we had, Nicholas had given them a couple that we had, some grants that we were getting, we were going to bond or take out a loan, you were taking a loan.
Yes.
Yeah,
so I think we've got a problem because of the
That's right.
focus on the flood. However, what I think needs to happen is I think there does need to be maybe a face-to-face meeting after the holidays to get an update. And I would definitely, Charlie, if you want to see if we can go in and just talk to Nicholas about a few things.
What do you think about having Nicholas come to one of these meetings? Is that gonna be too, much on the hot seat?
I think it would be too much. I think it'd be better to keep it small.
Yeah,
I'm all for having him come to a meeting, but he apparently is busy.
I think we need to just,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but we need some information, that's for sure.
Yes,
it's just a fact-finding mission.
I agree with that. I'm sure he has done not much on this with everything that's happening with the flood, so.
we're right now, we're
Um,
this high, going through the budget for the rest of the year, the budget for the upcoming year.
Right,
Um,
do you still feel this is on the table, or is
It's
this?
still on the table, right? Trying to figure out where we're gonna be financially for the next 2 years it's not a bright picture.
No,
There's at least 100, I shouldn't say too much up here.
there's a lot of work to be
Until we know exactly what our grand list is gonna look like after these assessments. I wouldn't plan on anything else coming to the surface for a while.
But the purpose of having a small meeting would be to understand how we can look at this over the next
Yeah.
3 months, because, I was contacted by Professor Kelly. He would like to get together and talk about an update, and he invested 1.5 years of his time and other senior staff time and 15 students. And, I'd like to know what I can say. Generally, and also he wants to be a partner, an ongoing partner, in making sure that this project actually happens. So we just need to, I realize, I'm one of the hardship stories too. The flood happened, we're all working on it, but to lose out on an opportunity of this scale would be foolish.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
A phone call to whoever in the feds. is,
Exactly.
Bernie's office or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
Right, it just
can't
takes a
take
few
that
minutes.
long. Yeah, and just to have somebody say, don't worry about it, you know, you're good for another 6 months or whatever. I'm worried about the phone call coming the other way that says,
Oh, God.
you missed it,
Yeah.
sorry,
exactly.
you know,
I am too.
and it's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, to me, is the concern.
Yeah,
I am too.
Agreed.
If we have to wait 2 years because of budget concerns or whatever.
Right.
If we get 2 years to wait, that's great.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but if we don't have 2 years,
We don't wanna run up against a hard deadline.
Yeah.
And miss it,
Yeah.
so, I would assume that Nicholas the city's had conversations with these people, but, I'll reach out to Nicholas and schedule something.
Yeah.
Hopefully for next meeting, we can meet and have a little bit of a better update. Okay, anything else on continuing our earmarked funds? Okay, so we'll move on to Jim. What you have?
Thank you, Charlie. Just a review of the sponsors gathering that we had here about a month ago. When we think around the table, it took some time to come up and supported that gathering. I do have to admit, I was somewhat disappointed with the number of sponsors that attended or didn't attend, but ironically, I've seen some of those sponsors out and about, and they all say, "Hey, I'm sorry I missed your event." So at least they know what's happening, but you know, little PR doesn't hurt, that's for sure. If you recall, Art a couple of months ago allowed or asked for, and it was voted on by the committee, that there'd be $1,000 allocated for that sponsored gathering for food, beverage, et cetera, et cetera. With the help of my dear wife, Linda, we spent out of that $1,000, $419.66. So, half is not that bad of a deal, I don't think.
thanks for Linda.
Thanks for that, exactly. Wise consumer that she is. The leftover food, and there was quite a bit of leftover food. Linda and I took it down that night to the Good Samaritan House. They were very
Excellent.
pleased to have it, so. On a scale of 1 to 10, probably the sponsor gathering in my mind is about a 4. If we do it again, which I hope we do, I don't be perhaps an annual event, it might improve the numbers of persons coming.
So I do want to just say, and I've said this to you in person, in any type of nonprofit organization that does events, people would quickly acknowledge that you cannot do a perfect event with great attendance in 1 year. It takes a few years.
Yeah.
So please don't feel forlorn that there weren't as many people as you would like. The word got out there and it was well received.
I think, well, thank you, too. That's nice. I
Yes.
appreciate that. It was a little bit of a downer driving home, but I'm a big boy. In talking with Jeff and Stephanie just last week, the three of us have decided that this year we are not sending holiday cards out to the sponsors. I don't know if I bring it to the table, if anyone has any input to offer on that, certainly we welcome that, but at this time.
Seems like those are kind of fading away from most
That's what,
people's.
yeah, exactly.
And I told Jim, he's very good about it. When people renew, he sends a thank you card.
Yeah.
A personal
Yeah.
thank you card for everyone. So
I think
we thought that was good enough.
yeah, and the email
But no,
blasts you send out are. excellent.
Yeah, the monthly or so emails you send
Yeah.
out. Better than any card.
But the thank you when they renew,
Yeah.
that's huge.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's, I think that keeps
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
The next big event that I'm working on is that winter solstice. It's going very, very well. Got a great group of folks helping. Paula's helping, Bernie's helping. A couple other fellows here in town, Bob McLeod, Reggie Griggs, and a friend of mine from Essex Junction comes up. We've had a meeting here with all the athletic directors just last Thursday. All but one came, but I've had a conversation with them. We're in a good place with this. We're getting it. Matter of fact, today there's supposed to be a significant article in the Rutland Herald about the winter solstice.
Yeah, that's it.
It isn't? Good, good. And that's all because of Brent.
Curtis.
What's his last name?
Curtis.
Brent Curtis is, who's a fellow on DEV, is giving us a lot of support and a lot of help. And the 4 schools coming are very excited about this. I think we're gonna have some pretty good crowds on the 23rd. I want everybody to start praying on the 20th, though. No snowstorm on the 23rd. I'd like to get the weather all ready for crying out loud, so we'll see how that goes.
Not sure I can help you in that area.
Do you
And-
have a poster or something?
Yeah.
Could you send out a copy of the poster to all of us so that we could put it up at our offices or?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I will do that. With Stephanie's recommendation, I called it JPEG. What's
Yeah,
that?
it's a JPEG.
JPEG? I have no
It's
idea
a
what that
type
is.
of picture.
Yeah, that's what it was. So, just the size of those, announcements right up there, we ran off, let's see. 80 of them,
Okay.
and we gave 20 to each of the athletic directors last Thursday, and they took them back to the Morrisville, the Hardwicks, the Montpeliers, and the Berries to pass around to various communities, so. I think we're, doing a pretty good job of advertising that. And I also want to make reference, and I have it right here, through Bernie's efforts, Bernie. The Berry Planners Association has stepped up once again, and they are helping to sponsor this, winter solstice to the tune of $2,500. And the vast majority of that will, be used in appropriate ways. Bottom line. Let's see. Oh, with the winter solstice. Just a couple little changes. This year, we're having through, again, Bernie's great work here. We got the BYSA folks coming downstairs to do the concessions all day Saturday.
Nice.
So that'll give them an opportunity to, make a few bucks. Rather than having it done by a local, merchant here in town.
Yeah.
Also downstairs, I do want to make reference to this, there will be 2. I don't want to call them exhibitors, because I don't think that's the right word, but, from the Vermont State Colleges in plural, which are the 4 institutions, there will be an admissions counselor here all day long downstairs in the basement to talk with kids and parents, if any have any ideas or time to stop and talk with them about what might be ahead at Johnson, Linden, BTC, and or Castleton. And also, I came up Saturday morning, and helped Stephanie with her, breakfast with Santa. And I had a conversation with that young man who found that $2,000 coin in the kettle. And I've invited him to be, Salvation Army to be here on the 23rd and set up downstairs. If anyone thinks
Good
that-
thought. Good, nice.
if that's inappropriate, I can call him, but all the admissions downstairs and, the Salvation Army. And the last one, and I'm not volunteering to do this, but I think it's a tremendous idea. Again, it's Bernie's idea. Upstairs in the balcony, we get all those balcony seats from the Opera House.
Mhm.
Right now, on the back of those seats, there were little brass plates about half the size of my phone, maybe smaller, that such and such family and company and so on and so forth obviously paid for those at what, I don't know, $25 or $30, whatever it is. And I don't know how many chairs are upstairs.
300 and
Yeah.
some odd.
So do the math.
I think we did, they were $70 back in the day.
So the ones we took out, plastic ones. I have the plates that were on those. We pulled off as many plates as we could off of those. The plates that are on these, were people that donated to the Opera House for those chairs. And it's a pain in the ass to try to pull them off, so we just left them all on there.
Yeah, I understand that. Okay, but if there, how many chairs up there?
300 plus, I can't get the exact
Times
number.
70?
Yeah.
That's a gold mine up there.
It is.
But I am not volunteering to do that because already when I walk into some business, you've heard me say, what do you want now, Jim? So I can't go back and tap those resources, which I do on a yearly
I think
basis.
we've had an evolution of 2 times that we've sold those seats up there,
Yeah.
once
But-
way back.
I
and
mean,
then
if you're
the-
gonna
then the
buy
Opera
new
House,
seats
yeah.
and redo it again, do it then, but don't, you can't sell names on a seat that somebody's paid for.
You
from the opera
can't,
house.
you can't sell it twice.
Okay,
That's,
Really, even though it's a different venue?
yeah,
Yep,
we got the chairs for free.
Yeah,
yeah.
Sure, I agree, but they pay for.
Think of
opera house
another
chairs.
cool idea.
And these other people are gonna say, I bought a chair in
Yeah,
1979, those plastic chairs, now they're gone and my name was on there.
Yeah,
It's best not to open up this can of
Yeah.
worms.
Yeah.
There are other great opportunities.
we'll come up with something new.
Yeah,
Fine. I thought it was a pretty good idea.
I did too.
I mean, making that's $21,000, bang, like that.
you know,
and just to add, if any of you are free on the 23rd, we could use some ticket sellers.
Yes, absolutely.
what are the hours?
Well, the first game is at 11 o'clock, so we'll open the doors at 10, 9, 10, 10:30. And the last game, the games are 11, 1, 3, and 5. The 1 o'clock and the 5 o'clock will be the biggest crowds, I think, just given
Those are boys' games.
how they are.
I
They're all gonna bring a lot of people
Yeah,
in. And what we, our committee, the group here decided, we went everything from a high of $10 for adults and a low of $3 or $4 for students. We're gonna make it pretty simple. It's $5 a head,
yeah.
no matter what age they are. So if they give us a Lincoln, we'll just put it in our cash box and be happy enough and we'll fumble around with a lot of change.
What do they get now for like a regular season game that's falling, if you,
Now they tell them
$3?
3 or 4, pretty much in those schools that came
And
in
they're letting seniors in.
3.
And they want you to do it online.
Yeah.
You don't want to really take cash when you walk in there, which is a pain in the butt.
Are they doing that for regular season?
You want me
too?
to come to this game? You
Really?
gotta Take my cash.
So regular season games are all digital?
I would.
Oh,
say, but I think.
I know last year,
Yeah.
they were still taking cash last year.
Yeah, I paid it.
I know for the tournaments, they're trying to go 100% digital. When I talked to Lauren Thomas a couple of weeks ago,
Well, but they can't for balcony.
for balcony, I know, she said, I don't know how we're still looking at how we could do balcony. I said, that's been the bread and butter for the Barre Tournament Committee, is
Yeah.
selling tickets.
Yeah,
Back to this piece, I forgot to mention, with this admissions, which is coming in. This is kind of a trial run, but I think there's a potential here that they could come out of the bottom of the auditorium on the end of the tournament. Pretty happy with why they came here. I used to be in admissions, and when you went to an event like this, you had to pay like $1.50 to be there. This year, we're comping it. But being in, not necessarily an internal optimist here, but being, the thought being that if they walk out of here skipping to their car, because they got quite a few inquiries, they're gonna wanna come back next year.
Yep.
And guess what?
the bonus of this, that Jim hasn't said, and I don't know, we let you know earlier, is that it's $5 for the day.
Yeah,
It's not per game. I mean, you can buy a ticket for the first game, you can stay here all day if you want. So, I mean, it's a value, it's a real bargain, and for anybody that wants to come to the Barre Auditorium, first of all, to see their kids or grandkids or
Yeah.
whatever. It's an opportunity to kind of come when you want. I'm a little bit leery, as to, in the Spalding Montpelier boys game, and because I think we're gonna generate a real good crowd there, and, for people that are
Yes.
hanging around from the games before that, we might have a little bit of a situation, but let it come. I'd love that situation to happen, but,
people gonna be able to come and go.
yeah, I
Stamp
think,
'em or
we'll.
So it's a actual paper ticket or it's
No.
hand stamped?
Same thing.
Oh,
I
okay.
found them, by the way.
thank you.
How do you handle that? Like if the first one is attended and then they leave, is there a capacity of tickets you can sell? So like the fourth game, a bunch of people might leave and then they would come
Right.
back for the fourth game. Does that get into
When
your?
they come in, we're gonna stamp that they're a customer and all they gotta do is just show us the
Do you-
stamp
do
to
you-
come back
right,
in.
Because
you
somebody's
sell it
gotta be
out,
at the
though?
door,
We are.
keeping tab of how many people are in, because there's fire safety issues.
If you do that, then.
Definitely,
you
I don't know if she
leave
still
it
has
too.
them, she used to have those counters.
You've gotta.
Well,
have
let's come back to what Paul is saying here.
Yeah.
when we had the college gig for 2 years in a row, I
Yeah.
sat out there like for 6 hours all
Yeah.
day on Saturday, which
Yeah.
I'm not saying, that was no great sacrifice. I enjoyed it because I was shaking hands and kissing babies here. I like doing that sort of thing.
Right.
But like Bernie said, you can't have just one person selling, collecting money.
Right.
Because when that first game starts at 11 o'clock and People's Academy and Hazen are coming in,
Right.
half the towns, as I believe, half the towns of each of those two communities are going to be coming. We're going to have 3 or 4 people selling tickets or not selling tickets, collecting money at the same time.
Yeah,
as stamping.
we have to.
Right.
I think it's going to be jammed.
Both ticket windows open to 2 people in each one.
We're not doing it
We're
at
not,
the
no,
ticket,
remember we are going to just have them come in the main gate there.
just set up a table.
Yeah,
I'll do whatever.
Either way, I mean, you gotta
I'll do
have-
whatever you think is right.
you gotta have at least 2 people there.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
I'll help out. I just have to look at my work schedule and see when.
Do you
I-
get, do you get to capacity
Okay,
on
you can
those
either-
games?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what he was asking.
Right, that's what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
if you have capacity on the first game and they leave. And then like the third game is really popular, Spalding game, and a bunch of people come, how do we know where the capacity is if they're coming to the ticket office?
Well, I don't,
how
I'm
many
not sure
stays
exactly
are
what's going to happen, but talking to the ADs and knowing what happens with their games that they play each other at their places, at their high schools. Their gyms hold 400 people
Yep.
and they're full.
Yeah.
So we can put 1,700
just
people
on-
in this place.
Just
Right.
on the main side of the floor, not the stage
Right.
side. You could have up to 1,000, maybe 1,100.
That's right.
And then, do you want the bleachers on the
Yes.
stage side too?
Yes,
Right, there's another 2, 3, 4, 400 plus.
see, that'll do 2 things. They'll have people come down and go across like they do. at the
They'll have to,
HPA.
because we don't want people walking across the floor to get
Exactly.
from one side to the other.
Plus, they're going to see the
The concession.
refreshments and BYSA is going to be particularly
Yeah.
pink, because more kids are going to go down and buy that popcorn and hot dog.
Okay.
Financially, here's what we put forth this year. If we do, let's just use simple math, 1,000 people come to this and we're charging $5. Obviously, that's $5,000. Each school, all 4, is getting 1/5 of the gate. So that's 1,000. That's 4,000 there. The remaining 1,000 that stays on the hill.
Yep.
Next year, perhaps there'll be something different as an understanding, because I've already had inquiries. How come I didn't get invited? How come you didn't talk to us? And I said that to the AD this last week. I said, when you're out playing your schedule this winter, please, if someone from U32 or Harvard or Northern, how come you're going? We never tell them, hey, let's give a call up on the hill, speak with Jim, because I hopefully see this thing blowing out with BPA approval. We could play two games Thursday, 2 games Friday, and 4 on Saturday. I mean, we could play, awesome. So this,
The BOR thing downstairs, with the concession, they're the ones that could make out real well
Oh, yeah.
in this. And
BYSA,
so we're
yeah.
hopefully passing this back through the community and in, for the kids too, so. yeah.
That's why I asked, if somebody can get stamped and they can go downtown and have lunch or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Is what you want to be able to do,
Right.
as long as not more than whatever it is, 1,700 people show up for the last game. And all of a sudden, the last few can't get in the door.
My first few years on the tournament committee, I remember a couple of nights, it was a Montpelier U32 game. And Louis was selling tickets and he had people sitting in the steps in the balcony and chairs under the press boxes.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
What
no, I
about
mean,
parking?
I'm not gonna call the fire marshal. I
They're
guarantee you
gonna
that.
park wherever they can, just.
No, you're not gonna have anyone out there organizing.
No.
Okay, okay.
Remember, you're competing with hockey people.
yeah,
Hockey
Oh.
people don't know how to park.
I would
Parking
think,
is another story.
Is
That's
there
it.
much going on the 23rd with the hockey?
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
see.
boy, oh, boy.
But you know, that's a good thing. That's a good, really, you gotta spend the good
So
on that.
the only,
Oh, absolutely.
I know that's gonna be a game, it looks like
Girls.
double header. Maybe not, single game probably.
But you're right.
There will be one Spalding hockey game at 3:15 on Saturday, but the rest of it's a fun and fitness group, that's adults at 6:45 to 7:45.
will be done.
Then there's nothing until 1:30 to 2:45 public skating, so that's not a big crowd. So it'd be around the 3:15 mark where there's a high school hockey game.
But your idea, hopefully that it expands in future years so that you can schedule it over more than one day, would help with the, exceeding the potential capacity of the facility. Well, I think it's great, like you say, 400 people show up in some of these little gyms. You gotta assume or hope all 400 are gonna show up here.
It's on the radio, it's being streamed, so they can watch it. We're all over the country wherever they are, it's,
Neat.
I mean, I think we've thought of a lot of the different angles and. Yeah, if we get 2,000 people up here, we got a problem, but it's a
Worry
problem,
about
it's a
that when it
problem I'll
happens.
worry about later.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Yeah, exactly, so.
And there'll be a little advertising post-tournament, every coach, manager, ball player, he and she. It will be getting a T-shirt. I'm a T-shirt guy. It's just great advertising. And we fortunately had two sponsors step forward. And they're paying X amount of dollars to be on each sleeve. One is a Union Bank in the, all four of them. Schools coming in, Hardwick, Morrisville, Barre, Mumpet, there's a union office, Union Bank.
Sure.
And the other one is Lamoille Valley dealership with the people, the two gentlemen, the two brothers you see on Channel 3 frequently.
Yep.
Lamoille Valley Ford in Hardwick and Chevrolet over in Morrisville. And it's around the area.
Yeah.
And they jumped all over that. So I think we're okay. We do have the tournament group coming, or the solstice group is coming in on a week from this Thursday, just to touch base one last time, put everything together.
So, the admissions counselor idea is good. And I was just curious, is it, the state colleges and the community college, or only state college?
Right now, it's only state colleges.
Could we get community college also? They've got some special, free tuition deals that would be very attractive for some kids.
Do you know who I would contact? I can call the admissions person I'm working with and see if in fact, I'll put that on their plate.
Thank
Say,
you.
how about calling the community college and see if they want to come in? I mean, you could do another X amount of dollars next year, just having colleges come in, having to pay for a table.
I will be wearing my Michigan hat for my.
Oh,
Because as you know.
Yeah,
may have
they're
heard,
in the big four, they're in the final four.
may have heard.
And
I'll be flying my colors.
Michigan should win the national championship, giving everything they do as far as cheating is concerned.
I was gonna throw that out there, but I'm a little nicer than you.
We're going low now.
My pay scale. I have to say, I think of how you play baseball, how you learn the signals and tell, like, I don't understand exactly what this is.
So you mean like the Astros? Like the Astros, tackle, trash can, fastball, curveball.
Exactly. It just seems like there's a certain amount of knowledge that's shared open. Anyway, never mind.
That was a big one.
I understand that there's a house on Orange Street or something that has certain colors for Christmas lights. Yellow and blue or something like that. or what?
No, it was getting a little crazy. I was at my dad's house in Michigan for the last game and, he marched in the marching band. It was getting kind of nutty. I think we went through too much munchy food. Okay, let's continue.
Okay, awesome. Great report, Jim. You got anything else or? Yeah, that's a great event. I look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, we're doing okay on time. I think it's 9:15. So, Jeff, what do you have for a report?
So like I said, with my guys right now, they're helping out, trying to get this flood repair work done. But they're doing a good job. We've been busy as hell in the auditorium this month. We had on the Friday the 1st, Darn Tough had their employee holiday party. Had a beautiful setup. They had 300 plus people for dinner, had a band. Then we had we switched everything back for basketball for 2 nights last week. Then we set up for breakfast with Santa that Stephanie had on Saturday. There was about 60 people for that. Then we set up for tomorrow. Darn Tough is back for their annual employee meeting. They serve like a light breakfast thing and they have their year end, how we did type of meeting. So that's tomorrow. And then as soon as they get out of here, they're only here till about 12:30. So in the afternoon, we switch it around a little bit because Friday morning, we have the Rock of Ages party, their employee meeting and party. And then on Saturday, a couple of the local churches, I think it's Enough Ministries and Neil Laborn's down by the post office. They're doing a upstairs, downstairs thing. Downstairs is a live nativity and they're giving out gifts for all the children. Upstairs, they're feeding the homeless, a dinner, a big dinner. About 400 people set up for that. Then next week we go back to BYSA basketball, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, winter solstice on Saturday. And basketball the rest of the month. January looks like mostly basketball the first 2 weeks. Then on Saturday, the 13th, we have a mixed martial arts. Then it's basketball all the way through again until the first weekend in February, which is the gun show.
Could you do us a favor and send the calendar
Yeah.
out just in advance of the meeting? Cause
Sure.
that's really great
Oh,
information.
I've been doing this now since, for 6 years.
Mhm.
I think we're doing more in the next 3 months than we did in the first 2 years in the 365 period.
Yeah.
He didn't mention all the kids that are coming in when we get a Sunday night parade.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
70 to 100 kids are coming in here, playing basketball on Sunday nights too.
And I think Stephanie's put in, some open gyms during school vacation during the day.
Yeah, she's got me working 4 days, so.
We also have now the Chelsea Men's League is back again this year on Sunday nights.
Chelsea Men's League?
Yeah, well, it's mostly Barry guys.
But
The
see,
Barry League
there's
kinda
there's
collapsed.
a potential there to have when I was in high school 100 years ago, there used to be town team tournaments on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Big one in Woodville, New Hampshire, big one, the gold medal in Burlington.
Be fun.
That's got that might possibly come together.
As long as next year's goes.
So stick and puck is on for school vacations. One nice thing is that Nicholas is a hockey guy.
Yep.
So I had met with him a while back and he asked me, "Do you guys have stick and puck here?" I said, "Nope." He said, "Why not?" I said, "Because someone doesn't want to schedule it." So lo and behold, we have had multiple stick and puck events in the last
Successful?
few weeks. Yes.
Good.
And she kept telling him, "Well, nobody comes. So he went.
Right.
And there was like 20 kids there, plus him and his 2 boys.
Yeah. Great.
So,
A beautiful story.
yes, it is.
Jeff, who does
I
the,
smile now.
who does the catering like for, Darn Tough?
So, Darren Tough had this guy. I don't know where he's from. It was taco Sunday. It wasn't like a big dinner for that.
Okay,
The Rock of Ages is Cornerstone. They do strip steaks.
Wow.
Here, or do they bring them in and just read?
He brings them up in his van. He has everything cooked. He has his van, his warming van, packs it out by the back door.
Brings them,
A couple of the other ones coming up in the spring, Pike, when they do their 3-day safety training thing, they get Danny Violet, Jockey Hollow Catering.
Yeah.
He does those. The Trappers thing, the end of March, they usually use Bob Sample. Everybody's got their own.
do they use the kitchen facility at all?
Yes,
They do.
yeah, and it's gonna be used Saturday for this feeding the homeless
And
thing.
it was used last Saturday for breakfast with
Yeah.
Santa.
So
Yeah.
what gets used in it? I mean,
Basically, you got the 2 gas stoves there.
yeah,
He did, I don't know, scrambled eggs, pancakes,
He did.
bacon, stuff like that.
okay,
A lot of them, so like Cornerstone, they just cook everything down there and then bring it up in
Right,
the
yeah.
van. Danny Violet, catering there, Jockey Hollow, he uses them, so he uses the ovens, the burners. They use the big coolers to keep their refrigerated stuff in. We're limited to what we can do, because
Well,
there's
yeah, I
no
know.
wood in there, so you can't do any grease laden fires on top of the stove. You can, you know, do pancakes, stuff like that.
Is that becoming any sort of a limitation on what people
No,
might do or whatever?
no,
I mean, I think it's great, all these local businesses having their events here, and
Yeah.
opportunity for others too. I just, that's why I'm asking, is the kitchen becoming any sort of a limitation
Nope.
as is?
no, everybody that's been here are, and they've been here before. And they know what it is in there.
Yeah,
For this thing on Saturday, feeding the homeless, Sue Kelly came up. She used to run Snack Shack down
oh,
here.
yeah.
So she's gonna help with
Be there,
some
right?
of the
Merry
peaches,
Christmas.
Oh,
some of the, so I guess there's some of the people at the churches that have been doing lunches, breakfasts for the homeless. So they've got people that cook there, so they're coming up, Sue's gonna work with them.
Yeah.
She looked everything over the other day, said, piece of cake.
Okay.
It's functional.
The rink scheduled right out good. Tonight is the first home Spalding game, boys game at 5:15. Yeah, so looks busy for the next 2 months, December, January, everything booked right up.
I didn't hear you mention anything about the crash show. How'd that go?
Craft show went great. Oh, you weren't here when I first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she had over 100 vendors. Vendors are happy. She was very happy. Already booked the dates for next year.
Good.
That's
We
great.
gotta work with her on her booth layout though, because it was. The way she had it, different sizes, you didn't have defined aisles, so you might start this way, then you're going over there.
People are so, whatever, I went to the damn thing, it was fine.
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
I think it was-
Complaining?
I think it was more
I
the
thought she was gonna speak an unmentionable word there. for a second.
I think it was more the vendors that were.
That's why I said yes.
No, we'll have Tracy come in. Tracy's been very good. She's got a few things that she's got going on up here and she's all with them.
She's done a great job taking that crash show over.
Yeah,
And that was dead.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it still makes me wonder why they left, and I'm still thinking, I think there was some issues there with money disappearing.
Yeah.
Because when she told me she was charging the exact same price for booths that they were,
Right.
and
She did very well.
she did very well. And they kept saying they were losing money.
did we get a payment on the booth?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we get $20 per day per booth, so
$20?
if you had a booth there for 2 days, $40, but she's charging the same thing, which is somewhere, 200 and something for an 8x8 and 300 and something for a 10x10.
Yeah,
So you give $300 for yours, but you gotta give 40 of that, so 40 of that goes to us.
okay.
So they're still making money.
And so she wasn't complaining, the gun show, is it the same cost? per
Gun
booth?
Show does it, that same thing, but
Okay.
see, the Gun Show charges more for their vendors. They don't charge, say, $200 for an 8x8.
Right,
They charge by the table.
okay,
And I think it's either 20 or 25 bucks a table. So if you need 2 tables, that's 50 bucks.
and we get
And we get 20,
20.
but they charge more than that. They charge hundreds.
Well, I've known that for years and years, and there
Yeah.
was one time there was somebody complained about the cost of a booth that went to the, the auditorium or the BOR or whatever the heck it has been. And most vendors, if they're gonna come, I mean, $200 is
Right.
not a big deal. It's gonna cost them more for gas to get here, is what it amounts to, so I just, as long as we're not having any complaints about what we're getting
No.
for.
And that was
Tables.
the craft shows. That was one of their complaints. So, well, you went from $10 a booth to $20 a
Yeah.
booth. And I said, and you probably went from 200 to 300
Yeah.
on a booth.
Yeah,
So you're still getting your $80. So don't complain about it.
right. I mean, we've put together, or a budget's been submitted to the city or whatever, for whatever's going on, but I think if you have a new opportunity for a new renter show type thing here, should we be charging more for the tables and, however,
Yeah.
booth tables, however you're gonna do it?
It's better to do it by a booth.
Yeah, well,
When I first came here,
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, well, you were here when I first came here. They used to charge for table, table was a separate fee, so you had your base rate for the building. Then you charge
Yeah.
so much per table, so much per chair.
yeah,
And at one point, someone told me at one point, when they used to have plates and silverware here, that was
oh,
extra
they
too.
charge for plates, oh, yeah.
Then that's what I
It was a
said, just,
nightmare.
I said, just
After that.
raise your rent fee.
Yes.
And it's one fee.
Yes.
You're nickel and diming when you do that other
Oh,
credit.
yeah, forget that.
Agreed.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that if another opportunity comes for another event or show, should we be asking more? I mean, you got some long time ones, maybe you got a grandfather mint or whatever you wanna call it. But should we be raising the cost
Yeah.
that we charge for, again, table booth, however you wanna do it, I don't care.
Yeah.
Isn't
What?
that
I mean, we
a
should-
yearly
We gotta
discussion?
go back and revisit our,
Yes,
like a
Yeah.
long-term
We have
rental
to- we
agreement.
have to
That
put
way they're
that-
locked in if we do change prices.
right, and now we have to submit to the city,
Yes,
so
Yeah.
before that next submittal comes, we should have this
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
Which I don't know when that.
it'll be July 1st, or maybe something, we have to do something,
Okay,
changing
review
rates.
our rates.
Another offshoot of what Jeff is talking about with all these events. I am in closing out, vendors for yet another year of advertising in both buildings. No one to this date has said no.
Good.
And that clearly had very direct influence on our sponsors, because if they drive by the marquee board downstairs and they see everything that's all they want. They
Yeah.
want exposure.
Yeah.
And having all these events taking place up here on the hill.
Right.
Is benefiting.
And your newsletter telling them that what's
Yeah.
going on, I think is.
That's
So you
invaluable.
do your.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Have you done December's newsletter already?
Well, I only do about quarterly.
Okay. So when your next one comes, I'll have Tracy give us the exact number, or estimate of how many people went through there.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. I'll do one in January.
Yeah, those are excellent letters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it keeps
Oh,
everyone up
absolutely.
To date, it shows
Yeah.
what's going around, it builds momentum, it's really good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good, anything else, or? Okay,
I knew you'd be glad about stick and puck.
yeah, very much so. I got tired of taking my kids from Barre at the Waterbury and.
Is Brent,
and
is
Montpelier and
is
everywhere
Brent
else.
happy?
Brad
Yeah.
Gagne?
Yeah, he's
I
been
haven't seen
pushing,
him much.
sticking,
I know he's having trouble. He had his
yeah, he had his
shoulder
shoulder
operated
done or
on.
whatever. I haven't-
He came up at deer camp that Wednesday, that first week, and he was hurting.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't done it for a while, but anyways, he's been pushing skating.
Oh, everybody has.
Ever.
It's just, why not? I mean, it's unbelievable that we
I have
did.
to have someone to collect money. I have to have this. And Nicholas said, well, if you can't find someone to collect money, we'll just put a box over there, a locked box, and they could drop,
Yeah.
drop money in.
Yeah,
But then when Nicholas went, one of the boys that does the cashier for her, he came up and he said, oh, so they got nobody to collect money, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So he jumped right into it.
People will help,
Yeah.
people will help.
It's just the fact of don't want to do it.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense. Which is why we'll have the rec departments come next month.
Yeah, because that was a big concern with them, was
Oh, yeah. They'll
not getting
rightfully
it
so.
pushed. you
Right,
know.
rightfully so. Good. Any questions or anything else put on the table?
What happens with the refreshment thing over there?
BYSA hockey always ran it, and it was a volunteer type thing, but
well, the concession stand?
you had to sign up, and if you signed up, you had to do so many hours, and you got so much discounted off
Well,
your.
they had all kinds of things. You
Everyone
could
from
buy your way
USA
out of it.
Everyone had to do it. Or
Yeah.
you could buy your way out, but everyone
Yeah.
had to do it.
Yeah,
And it takes someone, Carlotta ran it for a long
When
time.
Carlotta ran it,
Organized,
never had an issue,
right.
never had
But
an
it
issue.
needs that person.
but it was a lot of work for that individual
was.
to do it.
It was, but
I
it was
mean,
very
getting phone
successful.
calls or not, people not
Yeah,
showing up
Right,
and,
right,
oh,
but very successful.
yeah, oh, they
I
made
mean,
money.
Good money maker
Yeah.
for them.
Have we ever,
And we collected a, a portion, it was like a rental thing.
They call it rental, they did
It
everything.
was
I mean,
based on a percentage of your net. Your net gain at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It was a good deal for both of us.
have we ever gone, what about Dan Violet, or what about Simply Subs to see if they might be interested in coming up here and
I
running
had
that?
somebody a couple years ago interested in it. But
The hot
then,
dog guy
yeah, George,
never showed up after that. one
because
thing, did
they told him he works for Toyota up here. And they told him he was getting done, they were cutting his position, this and that, and then they reversed and kept him, so. You know, he used to do that summers, you used to see him down by the park or on Granite Street. And it would have been a good gig for him, but. I don't know.
If you don't sell french fries, you're not gonna be successful.
And see,
in
that's the
hockey rink.
problem, the kitchen is not,
Yeah, you don't
it's
have,
not
that.
up to code.
Right, no,
You can't cook anything in there, basically, you can do hot dogs on one of them rollers or a
Yep.
steamer. We did a stove for a while, then fire marshal told me, get that thing out of here, you don't have a bed, so.
Yep.
It's limited what you can
It-
do.
It's limited, but it was still successful.
Mhm.
So-
Hot
Yeah,
chocolate breakfast sandwiches, you know, that you can do in the microwave and
Popcorn,
stuff,
hot
yeah,
dogs, coffee.
yeah.
But
Parents.
I talked with Dan Violet on Saturday, and as you all know, he's in transition
Yeah,
with his business, and he was, talking to people about, yeah, I'll go and do this, I'll go and do that.
yeah.
You did for a season, I think you would be profitable for you.
See, he did all
Committed to it.
he did all the stuff for the Maple Woods and
You didn't get the contract.
Lamberton and Randy
you,
Legue.
Well, let me throw another one, let me throw another one at you. When you put that turf down, you better have something that's going on up there, because you're gonna get a lot of people in this building that are gonna want to buy waters,
Yeah.
Coke, coffee, whatever it is. and like
That's the other,
that.
thing, I'm
That's
having a
the-
problem with Pepsi.
Yeah.
They don't show up to fill and service the vending machines over there.
Hmm.
They're probably empty again. They're terrible. I hate to say it because we've got them as a sponsor, but they're friggin' terrible.
They're on the.
All they care
they're on-
about is how
they're
much
on the
money.
edge, They're on the edge, that is cause we did a 6-year contract with them, contract's been up for 2 months. The gentleman that we did it with has had some, situations out of work, so I'm a little bit nervous that Pepsi may not renew. Maybe it's time to go to Coke or
I don't
something.
know if there's even a Coca-Cola representative around here anymore.
Mhm.
I'll go to
You'll
Burlington
find
and chase
someone.
them down.
You'll find someone.
Barrels.
Yep, okay, any other comments? Okay, motion to adjourn. Excellent. A lot of good things happening.
I should be by later with.
Sorry, I was late.
Okay.
Apple. Yep. I gotta go check.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been there.
So if the, snack lady's coming up here, you're gonna be here, huh?
Well, I'll tell you something, there's a lady right there that could ramrod that thing and make it work.